Hi everyone, this is Callie Estrada with Midwest Fresh Homes. We are here podcasting with Jennifer with Passageways, and obviously we have Erica Bowler, our team owner here, and we're just going to be kind of talking to Jennifer about everything that Passageways does here in the Wichita community and beyond, and what their future plans are, and yeah.
All right, yeah, thanks so much for being here. I'm new to Passageways. I met a client the other day and he told me about it, and it sounds like you're doing some pretty great stuff.
In 8 years of it's been an incredible journey. It was 8 years ago when the news broadcast a death under the bridge here in Wichita, and it was a homeless veteran, and it really spoke to my mom and I and my husband. We have military in our own family, and we as civilians thought, well, the veterans are all being taken care of. And we started interviewing VA, Catholic Charities, United Way, everybody we could get to listen to us. And we said, where are the heroes going to get back on their feet? Mm-hmm. And they all looked at us and were like, well, what do you mean? I have family that served throughout the, military history.
So you were just moved by the story of the homeless person. Okay.
I mean, the military, they go out and they sign their life away for us to protect us and give us the ability to do things like meet here today safely. And just to think, wow, we just discard them when they're done? It wasn't right. So it was probably 3 weeks later, my mom and I walked away from our careers entirely and started a new program called Passageways.
Wow.
So we took her savings and we put a down payment on a house in West Wichita. And this is a place where 8 veterans at a time come and they find themselves. Who are they on this side of the battlefield? Because once they've come back, they're an entirely different person. They've got new skills. They've got a different way to communicate, and they're just kind of thrown to the wind. The biggest thing we hear from them is, I am so alone in this battle. I have lost all of my brothers and my sisters that had my back, and we don't want that. So everybody in the house watches out for each other. They're all honorably discharged veterans, right? And what they do is we get them on track to replace all of their birth certificates, their driver's license, their VA ID, get them connected for mental, if they need counseling. Most of them haven't even had a physical in like 20 plus years. I'm like, we got to get you in.
So how do you find the people that you bring to the house? And how many more houses do we need?
Oh my gosh.
A lot?
Oh,
I don't know how
my
big
heart
this...
flutter. I love that.
Well, I don't know what is the... I don't want to say demand, that's very businessy. What is the amount of people on the streets that are veterans that we do need to help?
Yeah, so we actually get the referrals from either the VA, Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, or the Homeless Outreach Team. Of course, anybody that has eyes and ears on a veteran, a lot of them won't go check into the VA, so we can actually do the research and find out if they are an honorably discharged veteran. We are not government funded, so if I had a bed available last night, heroes in it now. We're full. As soon as somebody graduates from our program, that means they met their goals. Mm-hmm. And they are working, or they have their benefits, or sometimes they get back checks from the VA for like $32,000.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's a whole new beginning. And so we take them to the Outreach Center at Town West, and that has all of this gorgeous furniture that was donated. Every household item you can imagine, everything is free for them, and 2 men in a truck move them for free.
Wow.
So we just graduated our 104th hero, and we've helped over 450 outside of our Outreach Center resources.
Wow. And you said that's over 8 years.
That is over 8 years, right?
That's amazing.
It is. And as far as, they have what's called a point-in-time count. And that is supposed to be a time that the homeless veterans come out and say, hey, I'm a veteran, count me in. Mm-hmm. That does not happen with most veterans. They don't want.
Yeah.
It is a
pride,
and I don't want to let people know this is the situation I'm in. Mm-hmm. So I know I've got a waiting list of 10.
Okay.
And right now they're in their cars or they're shed hopping, which they actually go into people's backyards and they sleep in the sheds. They learn your schedule. They leave, before you get up in the morning. And they aren't meaning to do harm. They're just trying to get out of the elements. We need more houses, we need land. We have a concept put together called the Home Front, and it's based on 25 acres, and if you send a drone up and actually look down on what would be the Home Front site, it's the shape of the Wichita flag. So it really, yeah, and it would be a community just for veterans. And the Passageways program would be, all the rules and guidelines would be instilled there at Homefront. So we have the ones that are, no drugs, no alcohol, no, just keeping everything straight and watching out for each other, the same thing they did when they were in the military. So we were going to launch that capital campaign, and this thing came out of nowhere that we didn't see coming, and it was called COVID. It was like, how do you plan for a pandemic for fundraising?
I think that's what we were all trying to figure out.
Right? Exactly. So with that, we still want to make that actually happen. But before that, because that's going to take some time, we need a female house ASAP. We've got 74% of the women coming out are actually or have actually been sexually abused in one way or another. And these women are turning to prostitution. They are selling drugs in exchange for staying at a John's house or staying with, the drug dealer. These are not options. So finally, the women have started coming forward since the Me Too movement and asking for help. And we have been seeing lots of females over at our outreach center and talking with them and asking them, why don't you come forward and ask for help? And they said, because I'm the mother, I'm the caregiver, I'm the aunt, and I will make sure everybody that goes before me is taken care of before I take care of myself. And I was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
This is, females keep putting themselves on the back burner. And it's like, we are going to pull you forward and surround you with powerful women that are going to help you walk the walk.
So you've decided that you're getting a female house.
Yes.
Okay. And so you've started raising money for that.
We have $57,000 so far.
Okay.
And obviously the goal would be to buy something outright, because no mortgage means I can put more funds into the programs and more things that the women have. So we have cars donated. I have 2 cars getting donated to us on Monday.
Wow.
We pay for the tax, title, and license, and we make sure that the hero has a clear driver's license, very important, and that they can pay for the insurance themselves, just because that's an everyday thing that we all have to deal with. But yeah, it's really whatever the hero's goal is when they come to us, that becomes our goal. They become our family, really. My kids have a lot of aunts and uncles.
What if they have kids?
Okay, so
How does that work?
for instance, we just had a gentleman come to us, and his wife, unfortunately, had been doing meth while he was at work, and the kids were home, and there were no signs. And he carried so much guilt from that. So the kids had to go into, of course, like foster care, and he did everything right. He came straight to us. He kept his job the whole time. He met with all the social workers. He did absolutely everything, and he just got back with the kids. They're all together under one roof again. So if they have children, we want to make sure that the father understands the importance of staying in contact, that their role in that child's life is so important. And we will get them over to the zoo. We'll buy them passes for the movie, whatever it takes for them to have some good quality time together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're typically separated from their children when they would go to the house, or?
We haven't had too many come to us with children, maybe 5 or 6.
Okay.
The rest have pretty much been single adults that have come in, or they're divorced, etc. And we do see a lot of divorce just because they are a different person when they come back from 3 different combat tours.
Yeah.
Family no longer understands, well, why isn't Bobby the same way he was before he left? Like, Bobby doesn't want to tell you everything he's seen and had to do.
You were talking to me a little bit about goals, how they come into the house with a set of goals. Do you help them set those goals,
Yeah.
and what are some examples of those goals that you set for them,
So
or they set for themselves?
Yeah, when they come in, we sit down and we want to know, obviously we give them a few days to adjust because they haven't had food, they haven't had a safe place to sleep, etc. So after about 3-4 days, keep checking on them, and then they have this kind of clarity, like they're excited. It's like, okay, now they're here, they've showed up, let's talk to them. And we ask them, what are your goals? What do you want to do? A lot of them will say, well, I've got 20 years in the service, and I, had 400 people under me that I ran. I'm like, but what do you want to do? And he looked at me and he said, I want to be a dishwasher. He was tired of accountability and responsibility.
Some days.
Right? Haven't we all been there?
I just work like 8 to 5. Like,
Right? Exactly. And we totally understood that, but he was so worried that other people would judge him for that. I'm like, but this is what you need. This is about you. It's not about anybody else. we're going to help you get to your goals. We've had some goals where a gentleman, Keith, wanted to go back to Albany, New York. That's where his family was. All of his family. He'd never even met his grandkids. And so we did a 17-minute fundraiser. We got him to the airport at 6 a.m. the next morning.
Wow.
Yeah, he cleared everything with his son and had a bed waiting there, the whole 9 yards. And that night that he arrived, it was so cool. His granddaughters were going to their very first homecoming. So he got to be there for that and was sending us pictures of him and his family. And that's what it's about. It's not
awesome.
Always just four walls and a roof and a floor, and it's we're so much more complicated than that. Mm-hmm. So it really does become whatever they want to do in life. We really try to help them get there and achieve it.
Yeah, I always do wonder, about the homeless, because this area of town specifically, there's a lot of programs, so there's a lot more homeless here.
Right.
So I don't know, how I always wonder how people get there and how do we do anything? I mean, other than veterans,
Yeah.
What?
We're really blessed. One thing that we do is we align ourselves with there's about 21 other nonprofits, and we kind of watch each other's backs, because I may get somebody in that I don't specialize in, but I do know Carrie over here does, and I can refer them on. And we kind of pride ourselves in the fact that, we need as many eyes and ears out there as possible. We don't want anybody falling through the crack, no matter what the nonprofit is. There are some that are chronic homeless, and those are the ones that have full-blown chosen, this is the life I want. The best way I can explain that is we did a speaking engagement with a high school, and they were all kind of, as you can imagine, they were kind of hyper in the class and everything. They weren't really getting the mission, which I understand. This is kind of a deep subject, Had my mom, Susan, go tap on, about 3/4 of the people, and if you got tapped, you had to sit down if you got tapped on the shoulder. And I said, you guys were in charge of this group, and look around. These are the only ones you got to come back with. And it hit home. They understood it. That whole group went out fundraising that night and raised money for Passageways.
Oh, that's awesome.
It really hit. Yeah, and that's what it's about, is just kind of educating the community on how they can help and what are the things that these heroes really do need.
So how can we help Passageways? Direct donations, I'm assuming.
Right.
Are there any other ways to do that?
We have a grant for clothing that covers everything, which is so wonderful, because that person can come in and define who they are now, instead of just taking what's available. It's like, what colors do you like?
It makes a difference.
Do you like Henley? Let's bring out that personality. It's great. But utensils, your kitchen items, I go and I stand in my kitchen and I'll open the drawers and I'll look to see what I have. And then that gives me kind of a guiding path onto what I need to get into these heroes' hands, because literally when they move into their home, it's just the home. There's nothing else in it. Beds.
So when they graduate. Okay, so they need move-in items when they graduate.
Exactly.
Okay.
End tables, coffee tables. We have Mattress Hub. We've teamed up with them and buying a mattress through our website, and then it has a platform bed. That way it gets them a little more storage underneath, because some of the homes are smaller. And we do tours all the time over at the Outreach Center and at Passageways. So if people want to really get engaged and volunteer and things, I always encourage you to call us and we'll get something set up.
Okay, yeah. Great. We'll put all of the ways to connect with you too. So I think, we'll just link anything up. So anytime anybody wants more information, they can contact us. We'll get them in touch with you. We'll have your links available on all of our stuff. And it's just such a great story.
Thanks. Thank you.